I put it out there. I said, there are not any white folks making these SNAP, you know, food wars posts, but I have found one and I want to discuss it with you. I will say I have seen very few non-obese people making these type of SNAP rage videos where they're mad about not getting their free food. As with every video where I cover SNAP and or food stamps, I do want to be very clear that I believe that there are in fact millions of Americans who actually do need it. Whether they're physically, mentally disabled, whether they are unable to work for legitimate reasons, whether they're in between jobs, whether they are living at or below the poverty line and they need a little bit of help. I actually don't care about those people getting a little bit of help. My issue is that when my government says that there's 42 plus million Americans, about 12 to 13% of the entire United States population receiving free money, taxpayer money, I think that number is too high. And I think that there's probably 10 to 20 million illegals who use their anchor babies to get SNAP benefits. I believe there are millions of people who are abusing their SNAP benefits by getting the food that they don't need and then selling it. We've talked about ad nauseum that a recent study showed that people with SNAP benefits actually spend more money on groceries than people without SNAP benefits. That is absolutely bonkers, and it needs to, we need to kind of have a reckoning around that. But these entitled giants, you see this, so put down the fork and get a job. Overweight woman complains that her brother won't be able to feed his child if he doesn't receive food stamps, and that her disabled mother will have to work. Look, if you're disabled properly, that's one thing. If you're so fat that you can't go to work, you could get a job working from home. Heck, look at how fat I am. I make YouTube videos. I can provide for my family. There are a lot of options that you can have that don't involve living off the taxpayer. Again, I want to be very clear and differentiate, because I think this happens a lot, in particular on the right, where everybody on SNAP or food stamps is seen as a freeloader. I don't think that that's true. I think some people do need help once in a while or for a short period of time, and I'm okay with that. And we just have this, of course, they have the quintessential liberal nose ring. Let's see what this large individual has to say.
So you think the food stamps thing isn't a problem?
It isn't.
But my nephew, my brother may struggle to feed my nephew if they don't get food stamps.
Now, there was a time in this country, and this is really kind of the crux of my position on SNAP and food stamps and any kind of government assistance. There was a time where we used to take care of each other. And it's unfortunate that we are so far past that. All I have to do is look at this individual and tell you that they have more food than they need. So if they have such a wild excess in food that they are consuming that they don't need, why don't they help their brother out? Why don't they help their nephew out? We used to be a society of civilized people that would look out for each other. I talk about this Twitter comment that I had about SNAP, a reply to it that said something like, dude, my mom would die if she didn't have SNAP or WIC benefits. And all I felt like was not that I felt bad for this dude's mom, but I felt bad for him. Like, why would you let your own mother starve? There used to be a time in this country you'd move your mother in, you'd take care of her. But that's like, well, no, what am I supposed to do? My mom's 78. I'm not going to take care of her. The government needs to take care of her. This is a huge problem in society. And I don't really know when the switch happened, but I'm going to guess it was somewhere around the 90s.
Even if WIC comes through.
And it's also important to know WIC and SNAP are different.
That's enough for my nephew. What is my brother supposed to do? Or his
work Work.
His wife.
He's-
Or their roommate.
They're married and they have a roommate and they still have no money. I just, I just don't believe that most people are working as hard as they could be.
Or their roommate's son.
Why don't you share some of your chicken nuggies with them?
What is my family supposed to do? My mom, who's on disability because she had a stroke and she can hardly get around, and can't work a job.
Hey, look, if she's on disability because she had a stroke, I don't care about her getting food stamps. I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me. But you're eating good in the neighborhood.
Like a full-time job, has been door dashing to put money back in the bank.
So she can DoorDash. So she can walk, drive, and she can get out of her car and walk food to people's doors. But you just told me she couldn't work full time. Again, this is a prime example of sounds like her mother is abusing the system. If your mom can order food from a fast food restaurant, get out of her car, walk inside, get the food, walk back to her car, drive to another destination, walk the food to their door, ring the doorbell, walk back to her car, then she could be a delivery truck driver for Amazon and probably make $25 an hour. Again, there is this wild over assumption. I'm not demonizing people on Snap. And like, if you're an actual viewer of mine, you know that's not my position. I have been exceedingly graceful in saying that there are lots of people, even millions of Americans, who need it. But when you have a gigantic woman like this, and her mother and her brother can't afford food, why doesn't she get off TikTok and help them out? Why is it my problem?
To prepare for November, since we most likely won't be getting food stamps.
Well, girl, you probably could not get food stamps for the next 2 months and you'd be fine.
Yet it's not a problem.
It isn't a problem.
My mother's going out and putting herself in pain, but it's not a problem.
Well, sometimes people with back pain, body pain, whatever, they go work anyway. And you have this person saying security guards at stores must let people steal food since SNAP benefits are paused, and threatens that if they don't let robbers and looters get away, they will be killed.
And I just want to come on here and say,
You're an idiot. Yep.
to you people
What's she hiding under here? Dang, girl.
that be standing in
Feel
front
bad
of
for
the
your back.
stores and the Good Samaritans and all of that, when November 1st come, and if they don't uplift this shutdown for these SNAP benefits, I'm going to need y'all to mind y'all business. Please mind y'all business. Those people, they trying to feed their kids, and they trying to go.
They are not, in fact, trying to feed their kids. You can buy gummy nerds on Snap. You can buy Grey Poupon on Snap. You can buy these people who are looting and stealing. They are not stealing food to feed their kids. This is a Democrat talking point who that is a lie. It's the same nonsense Democrat talking point that says, like, do you want people to starve? No, I want them to get to work. And I want the people in charge of SNAP to audit the 42 million people on the take from the U.S. taxpayer dollar and simply close down SNAP and force everyone to reapply under stricter standards. That's what I want. And then if the real number of people on SNAP is even as high as 20 million in this country, I would be shocked, but that would be half of what it is now.
Go home and just feed their kids. And I would I would hate for you to not be able to make it back to your family and for you to not be able to make it back home because you trying to save these billionaire companies. You hear me?
That's a direct threat of violence. And of course, this is another nonsense leftoid talking point about, like, well, it's billionaire corporations. Listen, lady, if Walmart has a 30% increase in shrink, meaning, theft, do you think they are going to make less money? Or do you think they're going to raise the prices on every other American to make up for it? You know, any idiot knows what they're going to choose.
Of their funds when they actually have insurance on every box of macaroni in there.
No, they don't.
So
that's not how it works.
Just mind your business and go on. And if you gonna be a good Samaritan and you gonna stand there and you gonna pay and you gonna do all of that, do your part. Do your part. But for those that are out there trying to do what the fuck they gotta do, please leave them people alone and let them take that food back to their kids. Let them take.
Tell them to go get a job. This is, again, a societal problem. Here we have a representative, Terry Sewell. 750,000 Alabamans rely on SNAP to put food on the table. If Trump won't work with us to reopen the government, his administration should immediately release $5 billion in emergency SNAP funds. Let me tell you this. There is no $5 billion in emergency SNAP funds. There are emergency funds that have been refused by the agencies to fund SNAP. The fact that you are a representative in a state that has 1 million people relying on food assistance, I think you should be worried about other problems.
SNAP benefits will be suspended as of Saturday, November 1st, and the Trump administration is doing nothing about it.
The reason the SNAP benefits are being suspended is because Democrats want illegals to continue to get SNAP benefits. That's the issue, right? The real issue is Democrats weaponize SNAP funding to push open border policies while refusing to secure the border. Trump's shutdown stance forces accountability, prioritizing citizens over bureaucratic bloat. Agree. Take it up with Chuckles. That's Chuck Schumer. I mean, look, all you have to do is not give my tax dollars to illegal immigrants, and the government could pass at least a temporary resolution to be open again. But the Democrats keep saying, oh, well, it's Trump. Well, I'm sorry, it isn't Trump. And while I do believe that there are people who genuinely need SNAP, everybody making these videos doesn't. You're sitting in a car that has a sunroof. You're doing all right. You got a gold chain, gold-ish chain. You're threatening security guards. You say that, you know, they're going to lose their life if they stop you from stealing. Well, I mean, I think that Trump should roll out the National Guard at every major grocery store in this country then. And authorize lethal force. That's what I think Trump should do. That's what he should respond, how he should respond to this. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you think in the comments.